2026 Board of Education meeting to order at 7:14 p.m. And I think our TMS cheer team would like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Go ahead. What? Go ahead, start.
Which stands by the nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good job. Dr. Willett, I think we have some acknowledgements tonight.
We do. So tonight we have with us the TMS cheer team. Can I hear it? As well as their coach, Nikki Burrell. The TMS cheer team started out a few years ago as a club. And through the Herculean efforts of a lot of parents and young adults, they really formed and pulled together and created that club, which really has turned into, for all intents and purposes, an amazing team. Coach Burrell has done an incredible job with this group, and you young ladies have done an incredible job winning the title here, right? So we had an amazing season, an incredible job winning the title. And I'm sorry to be late a little bit here. I will say one thing. After we say some really awesome words about your awesomeness, we actually have bling for you, or like tchotchke. I call it tchotchke. This tchotchke is for each and every one of you. So before you leave, I want to make sure that you get it as well as the coaches, okay? But I also want to make sure that you get one that says Tolland Public Schools. They all should, but I don't think they didn't. So, guys. Anyway, so I want to make sure you guys get one. Okay, but I'd like to hand it over to Coach Burrell.
All right. Hello, everyone. For those that don't know me, my name is Nicole Burrell. I've had the honor of coaching these amazing athletes and the TMS cheer team for 4 years now. After 20 years of coaching, we know that's a long time to some people. That's including all of my years with TYFC as not only a head coach, but also the cheer coordinator here at Tolland. This has been the most memorable season for me. I'm incredibly proud of how far this team has come. For a fairly new program, we have been extremely fortunate where we have placed every year, but this is our first place win. So it's incredibly meaningful. I want to thank everyone for taking the time to recognize these athletes. Moments like this remind us of the hard work, the dedication, and the long-lasting impact that this particular night is going to have on these athletes. I'd also like to thank my 2 high school assistants, Cassie Smith and Emma Susie. While balancing their own responsibilities as Tolland High School students and cheerleaders, they continue to give their time and their effort to mentor these amazing athletes to make sure that the Tolland program of cheer continues and is strong throughout the town. I'd also like to recognize my captain, Lily Vaishnav. Her kindness and her commitment helped guide this season and this team. She has spent countless hours shaping a routine with me that was not only recognized once, but twice for its choreography. Lily, I thank you for your heart. You brought it to me and to everyone here. One thing I like to try to remind these athletes is to stay humble. I keep saying it. Yes, it's great to win, but remember, all things need to align, and cheer success doesn't happen by accident. Every team that we are beside has worked just as hard as you. What made this group special is that they trusted in each other and they trusted in me. They lifted each other up, both on and off the mat. And because of that, it was a successful season. I couldn't be more proud of these 16 athletes, and I am truly honored to be here tonight. And I am so proud of the work that you put in, and I am so proud that it's being recognized. Thank you.
I just want to say congratulations to all of you. I'm so glad that you're here tonight. You have no idea how much we love when our students come in. So sorry for the delay, but it was longer that we got to just hang out in a room with you guys. Thank you so much, Coach Burrell. It's funny. 4 or 5 years ago, I remember when a lot of parents were trying to get this team off the ground. And so it's so amazing to see today. And I know one of your student coaches, Kathy, was one of those kids who started this TMS chair a few years ago, 4 years ago. My stepdaughter was a lifelong cheerleader, TYFC. She was captain in high school. I know how much work goes into this. You guys spend so much time on this sport. It's not an easy sport. You're flying in the air. You're holding people flying in the air, all the choreography, which you were obviously so amazing at. It's just what you've done, and what you've done at your age is just great. I was just wondering, could we see, would you stand up if you're a 6th grader?
Wow.
Yeah. And then how about our 7th graders? And our 8th graders? Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really great. And thank you so much to our parents for being here tonight. And of course, for all you do. We know how much work goes in behind the scenes, and taking them back and forth to practices and watching them. And I'm sure watching them plenty in your living rooms and, hoping that they don't, hit their head on the coffee table for years and years later. And I'm blessed to know the Barills as well. And I'm just so happy for you and getting to coach your daughter. And of course, your mascot over there.
Every step of the way. Yeah. She's
Very well deserved. And it really shows how much your team appreciates you, Nikki, and how much you appreciate your team. So thank you so much for coming and letting us share this with you. It's really, really exciting for us.
Thank you.
Anybody else want to say anything? Go ahead.
Who's our high flyers? Who's our
Yeah.
Who's our high? There we go.
There was a you flew pretty high.
Berlin, I remember when you were the mascot at T1FC,
Yes.
and now you're flying high in middle school. Very
What
exciting.
about our base? Who's our base? Yeah.
So you're doing double duty, huh?
That's awesome.
You guys ever get scared, either flying or base?
We're good.
How do you overcome your fears to fly or to be base?
Found out when flying, it's best not to tell them what they're going to do. So, and I say, close your eyes. And they
Well, again, it seems to have worked.
Just don't show. Yeah. Okay. That works except for driving. You learn to drive on
So you guys won for choreography, right?
We won twice for choreography. So we did the crawl showcase at Reputation is something that was started 6 years ago by the South Windsor Middle School cheer coach. And they invited us. We went there. We got best choreography and fan fave. They don't do trophies and they don't do places. They just try to get the middle school community out there because there's not a lot of opportunities for the middle school. So we went there, we got best choreography there. And then when we went to our one competition at Eastline, we got best choreography again in our division. So they gave us this amazing banner. And then we had our whole team sign the back so that it's a memory of who was there. But that one says a lot because there's a lot of stuff that has to be incorporated in the choreography. So Lily and I spent a lot of time really trying to narrow it down. And then there were days where we were like, ooh, should we change it or should we push up? And every time we pushed, they accepted the push. And I think that's why that choreography finally showed through because they really did take everything we threw at them. So it was a really good group of kids. In all my years of coaching, I don't think I've had a group that's gotten along as well. Getting a lot of females in a room sometimes isn't easy. This group really does. They seem to really like each other, so it makes for a really cohesive team to coach.
That's great.
I'll add,
Amazing.
I'm probably the one up on here at the board that saw them the most times just because my son was on the basketball team. And there's hands down no other cheerleading team that was better than they were that I saw. So they were, and I went to the home games, the away games, and You guys, especially what you did at halftime, was hands down the best of what I saw from any other cheer group. So that's kudos to you guys and the work that you put in. It definitely paid off and showed.
Bringing up halftime, there are some other girls that we have 22 on this team. So when I first started, there was 12. We have almost doubled in the last 4 years. You can only bring 25 on a cheer mat. It's really hard with one team to be at 3 games sometimes a week because we cheer for both boys and girls and be able to compete the way we do. So we actually have game day cheerleaders, and those cheerleaders cheer at every single game so that we make sure that there is someone for those boys and those girl athletes. So when we can't be there if we're practicing, there's still representation for school.
I'll say something.
So who's the best tumbler and who's got the best backwards handspring?
I see your finger point.
Casey. Well, play to play, but we're gonna fight.
I didn't know tumbling was the official position because I do that. I just, walking around.
The way we tumble nowadays is not the way they tumble. But we actually have tumbling is something that is very important in cheer, and we've actually been able to push a lot. So this year, we had six round off back handsprings. We had 6 back tucks. Actually, I think we had 8 standing handsprings. So we have a lot of tumbling. And I mean, we could always have more, but right now we're good.
And credit to you because when you go into competition, you kind of have to figure out the right formula of things, right? How to, that would match up to winning. So you did a great job for it.
I studied those score sheets.
We have some high school coach assistants here, yeah?
I have had the pleasure of, these two have been by my side for a long time. Some started with me in TYFC. Some stay and follow me wherever I go, and I keep trying to keep them around. But it's good too, because one of the other things is all of these cheerleaders, including these two right here, have all really good academic grades. I have no athletes that are not doing well in school. So to be able to pull off those academic standards, to be able to cheer for the high school and then give their time back here. And some of these kids do multiple activities. It's a lot. And they all handle it tremendously.
Congratulations. You guys are awesome. It's wonderful to be able to talk to young ladies about that.
Well, 1 second.
Yeah.
I just want to say,
please,
I can't not say something when we have scholar athletes in the room. I've had the pleasure of watching a lot of you grow. I think Mackenzie was winning the Graham since kindergarten, maybe even preschool, and Scarlett, and so I'm so proud of you young ladies, and of course, proud of everything that you all do. Watching you do, I've seen the videos that your moms put on Facebook, and they share, and not just your mom. I see Nikki's posts as well. You ladies are doing phenomenally, and you're doing Tolland proud. We have so many wonderful standouts from Tolland athletics that we've had this year at the high school and the middle school, and it's so great to see a group of 22 young ladies that you're saying are scholar athletes representing us in a form that it's only been, what'd you say, 4 years?
4 years.
That's phenomenal. 22 of you. That's so great. And doing multiple activities, which most of you have a million different activities that you're doing plus school, and then doing multiple games a week. There's not a lot of other athletes and programs that do that and execute at a high level. So seeing what you ladies were able to accomplish, and with your high schoolers helping guide you, it's just going to continue to flourish and get better. And we can't wait to see what you all will lead to. The future is bright for these young ladies for sure. And I look forward I go to a lot of the THS games. Sounds like I need to go to some more of the TMS games.
Do you guys have anything more to say? Young ladies, anything else?
Is there a captain? Is there
Our captain is Lily, and then our co-captain is Jennifer.
So what would you say? What would you say about this team? Either one of you. What would you say about this team? Was it meant to you? Loaded question. I know.
Way to put him on the spot.
That's my job, you know.
You can get that.
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay.
See what I'm saying? We really support each other.
I got this, girl. What does she say mean to you?
Oh, like, no, there's never been a time where we haven't been there for each other. Like whenever someone's down, we pick them up and kind of make sure that we do the best of our abilities. And she's a lot of trust and it's a great bond. Yeah.
Great answer.
I don't think that like the practices are so intense sometimes that like even when it gets hard, we're always there for each other. And I think that's really important in a team bond. And that's
Time happens. It happens. I'm not emotional. I don't show. Helping them out. This is exactly what I mean. When I say this group of kids really gets along, they really do. When we find ourselves laughing all the time, sometimes at people, sometimes at things. I don't know. It's just been a really fun group of kids and a really good year. And it was really easy to coach them because they wanted to be coached. So when it all aligned, it aligned, and here we are today.
Great. Thank you.
Well, nice job. So, know the moment you've been waiting for.
You want to take a picture first? Dr. Willett, you want to take a picture first?
Yeah.
You want to take a picture, Nikki?
I really do. You want the shot. The shot business. That's what's up.
They might see like that now.
If we, how do you want to do the picture? That direction or this direction? You want to have them back there?
No, thank you.
All right. Try to get in there.
Teach your plot information here.
Here is not funny today. You can do a special donation.
on the back, you go to the picture.
Was this that? Where's the back? Oh, I got it.
Oh, it's a bag.
How is my speech? Okay, guys, get it. Fire not. Get it for me. I'm always letting you get it.
Okay, guys, why are we not?
You're like the size of Brinley.
Nice one,
What did cheerleaders say? Do you say cheese or do you say like
Cheer.
rock and roll?
Falcons?
Cheer? Okay. 1, 2, 3, cheer! Again, 1, 2, 3, cheer!
Oh, no. No, there's another one.
Cheer.
Is there another? All right.
I made sure of it.
All right, girl. All right. Here.
All right.
I'm gonna come okay.
Guys ready to grab? You're playing?
Right, you go. Okay.
Nice. Nice.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for the name. Probably never gonna be able to.
That's not.
Wearing out of Yes.
Now they have.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's what I did. Yeah.
I don't see this. Yeah, it's the right. Oh, look, I got it. Sorry, we're about yourself. Yes, yeah. So, you're right. So,
Oh, yeah. I thought that, yeah. Yeah, I felt that.
Yes. I'll see on my eyes teared up, I tell you.
It's probably about 7 years. Zero people. That's why I do it.
I'm coming, I'm coming. Wait,
He's not a rookie.
We have 8 brothers here to support.
Sorry.
So love that.
Is it easier if I email it to you?
Yeah, to me.
Yours spinning, your fan or mine? That sounds like you. I thought it was me.
All right, Dr. Willett, I think we have one more recognition, THS artwork.
We do. So, let me share that screen. Okay. So also today, we did have artwork that was posted, and again, it's going to be part of a competition. But I wanted to give you a sense of, actually, I'm going to read the names of our artists. So the high school typically does special art projects and special awards for art. And these young adults, they've done an amazing job. They did receive letters of recognition. So just for the record tonight, I'm just going to read a couple.
It's awful so
Oh my God.
Oh, good, moving on.
After it goes, it's really just.
I couldn't tell you.
Which one was it?
I think it's working, girl.
Some sort of show, TV show.
The first one.
Just the leaf. Just the
It's best.
So I'm going to read a few names tonight just to highlight these individuals. Their artwork was chosen for the month of March to be displayed in the Tolland Public Library. So once again, you know that they do the art shows down there. So you'll have to go to the Tolland Public Library to see their amazing art. But they get a recognition as well, a communication, a letter, and an outreach, basically letting them know how impressive it is. So I'm just going to read their names into the record. Grace Nash did a fantastic job. Kajari Belden Herrera, also Marissa Donna. Bryn Neiman, Andrew Freeman, Kendall Naborski, Savannah D'Onofrio, Nora Russell, Nicholas DeForge, Mason Gerard, Evan Bose, Natalie Klember, Adriana Lamb, Josh Howe, Lindau Dolu, Aaron Gleicher, Luke Carey, Madison Manfrey, Viola Bouchon, Emily Loss, Anna Fargo, Nathaniel Glidden, April Pribinick, and that all our high school artists. So please go down to the Tolland Public Library to see their art. They are going to have their art show tomorrow, March 12th, from 6 o'clock to 7 p.m. So congratulations to all our artists that were selected for that. You can see their artwork there tomorrow night.
Great.
Right.
Thank you. In fact, do you want me to move the island?
I mean, I'm sure you would like it to be on you all night, but.
Keep it there.
There we go. Thank you.
Okay. And are there any additions to the agenda?
Oh,
Okay, for the approval of the minutes, I will accept a motion to approve the February 11th, 2026 minutes.
so moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? No? All right, start with you, Joelle. Oh.
Oh. Sorry.
Is it Lynn? Aye. Dana?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
Brian?
Abstain.
Mackenzie?
Aye.
JP?
Aye.
And I am an aye.
What?
You call
What
Jaden?
about me?
Oh, Jaden?
It's kind of operations. No, I'm kidding. Aye, of course. That's okay. You feel free to do
Got
that.
ahead of myself. I knew at some point there was going to be an error. Sorry, Jaden.
That's okay.
Do you happen so I don't start with you? Never again. Okay, moving on to public participation. The members of the Tolland Board of Education welcome members of the public to share their thoughts and ideas at this time when appropriate to do so. Members of the board and the administration may respond to comments during points of information. However, in consideration of those in attendance and in an effort to proceed in a timely manner, follow-up discussion may need to take place outside of the meeting setting. Dr. Lilly, got the timer up and ready to go? All right. Is there anyone in the room who would like to speak?
I will.
Please give your name and address.
Yes, and I'm just going to stay seated if that's okay. Heather McCann, 62 Cross, and you probably all know my address by heart by now. I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge the remarkable contributions of Miss Wendy Cody. Wendy is a dedicated professional in our special education sphere. Her official title is Pupil Services Supervisor. But I've learned to think of her as friend and teammate. She recently announced her decision to retire early from Tolland Public Schools. As a parent whose family has benefited greatly from her compassionate expertise and support, I feel compelled to share my thoughts. 10 years ago, when my family moved here, Ms. Cody played a pivotal role in seeing the potential in my child, expertly recognizing his needs, and provided him with the supports that he needed. Her skill set to see the good despite the challenges has made significant difference in our lives. Over the years, my son has made remarkable progress, much of which can be attributed to her insight, passion, and unwavering dedication. When I told my son about Ms. Cody's departure, his response was one of happiness for her. She deserves to be a part of a school district that supports her, he said. However, her departure raises concerns. Last year, several special education professionals left our district. I think anywhere from 5 to 6, citing a lack of support within our community. This is what they said. Having attended budget meetings over the past decade, I've witnessed how students with special education are often reduced to mere numbers and figures. We must remember that these are children, students, community members, and human beings. With the right supports and skilled administrators and teachers, our children can thrive. We would not be here today without Ms. Cody's dedication. Her departure is a significant loss for our school district, and I urge the board to reflect on the conditions that lead to attrition. I'm unsure of Wendy's exact reason for early retirement, but if educators feel unsupported or undervalued, we risk losing more talented professionals who are essential to the success of our students. I hope you will take these comments to heart. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone online like to speak at this time? Seeing none, I'll go back to the room. Anyone else in the room? One more check on online. Okay, I think we're all set. We closed just mention. Thank you, Dr. Willett. Okay, correspondence, Dana?
We had a correspondence regarding the juvenile detention center conversation. Another one that went to the town council and the town manager, as well as the Board of Ed, regarding CT House Bill 5468 and discussing on how that impacts schools and homeschooling. And then there was one about the school calendar regarding us ending on June 22nd and asking for some creativity to have us not ending on June 22nd. So I think that's going to be something we'll have to add to our discussion at some point.
Thank you. Okay, points of information. Would anyone from the board like to speak at this time? Could you?
Just two things. One, just a reminder, I can't remember if we have a meeting before next Saturday, but Wizards game happening next Saturday. Great fun. A lot of fun. So just shouting that out for the notes and making sure people are aware. And then two, I think we also had some DECA students. It came in weird because they were all batched into, I think, Miss Palumbo at the office. So we did have some correspondence from, I want to say a dozen or so DECA students, something like that. And so there's some out there, and they were, I believe, writing in support of, supporting extra co-curriculars and whatnot. So I just wanted to throw that. It was hard to catch though, because it was, I think you forwarded that to us. Because
Right, yeah, I think they sent it to Ms. Palumbo because generally people send communications to Ms. Palumbo when they're sending it to the superintendent. So that's why we scanned all of them and we put them on your board dashboard to say, here's, these were from the students at DECA.
Gotcha. Thank you. Yeah, it was non-traditional wave, so I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware so that, we can all take a look at some point. So that's all.
I did.
Perfect.
Yep.
Perfect.
And they're there if you guys want to go take a look.
We always love hearing from our students, and our DECA students are always such wonderful communicators.
They're really good at it.
So I'm really glad that they took the time to write in. I will just say, because Ms. McCann brought it up, that Wendy Cody is leaving, that I want to congratulate her on her retirement. As I always say, when we have wonderful staff members, happy for you, sad for us. As a mom of a special education student, I know how much Wendy did for our students, and how much our parents respected her and the help that she gave. So we wish her the very best of luck for program members.
I just want to give a shout out to two of our teams, the indoor track team. They both competed in state, then state finals, open finals. One of our students went in the 1,000 meter in the regular state, and some of our other students participating and competing very well at the open states. The other one is to the boys swim team, who just competed in state finals yesterday. Congratulations to Ben Pope, our 3-time state champion. Yesterday, he won the 50-meter freestyle race and broke the state record, which was his from last year. So, and then he won the 100-meter, and he's going on to state opens on Saturday. Congratulations to, like I said, him. And he was also part of the, as we know, our swim team is a co-op team between E.O. Smith and Tolland. So he also participated in relay teams. Our relay team in the 200 IM, they got second place, and that consists of Ben Pope and Nick DeForge, and the two kids from E.O. Smith. And then they got fourth place in the actual 400 meter freestyle. So for regular state, the first six finishers, they all get medals, but they're also moving on to open states on Saturday. So best of luck to them, and best of luck to Ben. I think he's actually the only one competing in the individual events on Saturday. So he is also an open state champ. So hopefully he'll break his open records again and win on Saturday. So good luck to him. It was amazing to hear all the good news, even though I wasn't there. So yeah, that's all I got.
So for the medley, ex-swimmer, not
Yep.
a very good one. Does Ben do freestyle for the medley?
Ben does a
And
freestyle.
what does Nick do?
I mean, he'll do anything. Ben is a freestyle. Nick is the backstroke.
Oh.
And then there's a kid named Eben. He is our breaststroke, and a kid named Malone is the butterfly. Yeah, but Ben Pope would do anything.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. The kid is.
Fish.
So hopefully we look forward to seeing him here so that we can acknowledge them. And
Yeah.
for those of you who don't know Ben
Love
Pope,
to.
he's an amazing kid and probably the most humble athlete that you'll ever meet in your life. And
He's here, right?
yes, he's a senior. Yeah, so hopefully look forward to seeing him.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah.
Get him on.
That's awesome.
To kind of rip off of that, there are some things that occurred between the last one, last time we met and this one. We did have snow days, cancellations, all that. The TMS girls basketball team, Connecticut River Athletic League, they are the champions. They also won the end of league tournament. So just kudos to them for winning those. At the state meet for, I think it's indoor track this year. Jake Verigard, he won the champion in the 1,000 meter. Rebecca Langley placed third in the 1,000 meter, and John Adagio second in the 55 meter. So they did amazing as well. Just a couple of things to throw out there too on sport.
Thank you. First of all, Heather, Miss McCann, thank you for bringing up about Miss Cody. She'll be sorely missed and greatly missed in the Tolland community. She's done a wonderful job, not only with our special education community, but the entire Tolland public school community. She's been a great resource for, she's always made herself available to whoever it was, whether you're a student or your family falls under her umbrella. She has been a bright shining star. Again, I wish her nothing but the best, and she'll be sorely missed. So thank you for bringing that up. I really appreciate it. As far as tonight with the TMS cheer, there's so much happening with our athletics and our DECA. Thank you for bringing that up, because I did see the email and it didn't come through right there, so I missed it. So thanks for picking me up, Jaden. So we have our DECA students who come in here and they speak so brilliantly and so intelligently and go to all over the country to compete with Miss Bridge and her team. And then you have the THS soccer team that was here like 2 years in a row for such amazing accomplishments. We had the golf team that won all these competitions last year. We have our swimmers, which I wish we had more swimmers. And growing up in California, swim program was huge because you got to do it all year long. So I'm glad that we're able to figure out a creative way to have it. Such a wonderful sport. But the reason why I talk about this, and they build the TMS cheer, and then our TMS basketball young ladies that'll be hopefully visiting us soon. They're starting these programs at such a young age, and they're helping develop their teamwork skills, their leadership skills, their team building. 22 young ladies that are getting along. Man, she's doing something right with those girls. But nevertheless, and then they're backfilling into our high schools. And you have so many students. I ran into Andrew Chater at the bubble the other day, and he's going on to London for school, and soccer's helping him pay for that. And he's a scholar athlete. Miss Susie, who is here, her brother Cam, same thing. Soccer's helping him. He's a scholar athlete. So they're doing these sports, and those artists that you mentioned, Dr. Willis, so many names that are familiar that we've heard again and again and again, doing whatever the artistry that they're doing, or the chorus or the band. Those opportunities that we're providing here at Tolland are going to only help these kids, whether they go into a college or a trade school or go right into the world right after. These are giving them lifelong skills to help them be an entire person in the community. So I couldn't be more proud. Like, this is the best part about being on the Board of Ed, is seeing the success of those kids. And as Heather said, these are kids. Let's pay attention to those kids. So I just wanted to highlight, we go through a lot of conversations that are tough and rigorous, trying to figure out what we need to do to take care of the whole school system. Just remember the things that we see each week when we have visitors, and our young ladies here who are a bright future, and what they bring to the table every week and what they're involved in their classrooms. So we just need to think about when we're thoughtful in our discussions on how we're taking care of our school system. And thank you, Jen and Bill, for mentioning the TMS cheer and then talking about the basketball, because I'm really excited to get more folks in here to highlight how important these programs are and what kind of impact it has on these students. So, and thank you, ladies, for coming every week.
Yes.
You make us proud.
I drop another, we're talking athletics, but Ben Pope is also kicking it out of the park in AP.
Yeah.
How?
They're all these classes that are like, oh my gosh.
Isn't
Yeah.
this scholar?
He's in the AP Calc, which to be an AP Calc and be knocking it out of the park, that's something too. So.
Yeah. What did we have at the rounds a couple years ago that we were in the physics class? And I was like, was I a fish out of water? But these kids were so brilliant. It's amazing. And it's again, all these things are helping them build everything to excel.
And just Miss Cody did a great job. She, I think, is moving to college level. So she's, she'll be there sipping lattes with professors. I'm sure. And that's a very recent development. But I also want to point out, we did have a retirement too. Suzanne Guglietta, also amazing. They're both amazing admin, but she also is put in for retirement. So we have two that are going to do some wonderful things and, put that out there for points.
Anybody else?
You, Dana hit on DECA. DECA had their state competition last week, blew it out of the water. They did awesome. So I look forward to them coming in soon. I don't know when that is, like, typically they come in a few meetings after their competition, but I mean, Mrs. Brown, I think all 3 business teachers were in attendance for that trip that day. I want to say, I could be wrong. So it's just cool that our whole business department got to see, where a lot of these students are going. So thank you for mentioning the DECA aspect of the well, but it's all clubs. So many of those names of the art students, and Bill, I know you recognize some of them too, because they played for us. They're some of our old baseball kids. So they're still playing baseball. So, there's multifaceted students, whether it's clubs, sports, academics, it could be community-based stuff. It could be volunteer, whatever it is. I'm just very impressed. And I think you hit the nail on the head. All of these things sort of adding up. It's almost hard to digest. It's really cool. So well done to the folks in the schools and to the students, and especially the 2 sitting in front of us who bear the brunt of these meetings. So just awesome. Our students are so cool.
Right, that's it. Speaking of the 2 sitting in front of us, you're up for the student representative.
Okay, so we've missed a couple of student council meetings due to snow days. It's been so much fun. But we've decided that Spring Pep Rally will be non-unified. So for context, last year we tried to do a unified pep rally due to admin pressing us to do a unified pep rally, which basically means that there would have been like teams with 1 student from each grade. So like 1 freshman, 1 sophomore, 1 junior, 1 senior, with the goal of bringing everyone together, as opposed to like in the fall when it's grade versus grade. And unfortunately, only 16 people volunteered or signed up to participate, so we weren't able to have that. So working with Mr. Tolland, we were able to come to the decision to have it non-unified this year for the spring.
And our pep rally will either be April 9th or April 10th.
That's it. All right, thank you.
Short, sweet.
Yep. Okay, moving on to committee and liaison reports. I'm not sure who met with who. So Jaden, did you have a policy?
We did last week, the week before, last week. We talked about a few things, but number 1 is pushing forward the policy that we're going to talk about tonight. So other than that, we got a few things coming down the pipe that will be added to, I want to say, the next agenda or the agenda after that we've been talking about for a few years, and that I think it's about time we start actually looking into it. So Dr. Willett's been gracious in the list of things to finally attack, and we're making our way. So policy, the best update is later in the meeting and board action.
Great. Thank you.
Good point. The calendar did come up in our last policy meeting. And so because we have, I think you said, Dana, we're pushed to June 22nd or something like that, which is bizarre. It did come up last meeting to just sort of test the waters. If we were going to change anything on the calendar, now is probably the time to do it, because break is in April break meeting. Is in about a month. So if we were going to change anything, if we were going to make any adjustments to the schedule or the calendar, might be a good conversation to have tonight, sort of off the rip. But I'm not sure if that has to be a 24-hour notice type of thing on the agenda, and we have to, because we're acting on it. So I don't know what
We
the
did vote to add something to agenda.
Gotcha. I
Would
can.
you like to make a motion to add the calendar to add a calendar discussion to the meeting?
Or even if it's nobody wants to get rid of it. Sure.
Add it as L2 in your business.
So
Okay.
motion to add the school calendar of the 2025-2026 school year to tonight's agenda under L2 as L2.
L2.
Thank you. Any seconds?
Second.
Any discussion? No? Okay. Jaden, we'll start with you.
Sure. All right.
Mackenzie? Okay. Brian?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
Dana?
Aye.
Elaine?
Aye.
Joelle?
Aye.
JP?
Do we have to unmute him?
Oh.
Actually,
Okay, we need to get that fixed up.
no, I don't think that setting is.
I am an I.
It's not on for this.
I. Sorry.
Good.
All right, so we will add that as L2. Okay. Okay. So Ryan, how about communication?
Meet next week.
Okay. I'll give Dana a second to sit down. Joel, how about?
We did not have curriculum because that was our snow day,
Okay.
and so we didn't.
Dana, did you have an FFC? Did you have an FFC?
Next week.
Next week. Okay. Okay. So moving on is the chairperson's report. I don't have anything formalized for tonight. We're going to hopefully finish up our goals, which will be great. Congratulations to all of us for getting through the first part of the budget process and putting forth an adopted budget. So now we will wait, and the town council, I believe, starts very soon going through their budget process. And then Bill just pointed out to me that March is Board of Education Member Appreciation Month. So I would like to tell you all how much I appreciate you. So thank you very much for being here and being online, JP, and getting through that first part. I wanted to say first budget process, but it's not over yet. So the first part of the budget process. And, you know, as we say regularly, I really enjoy working with you all. I really enjoy being a part of this team. Thank you to our student reps, because you are also board members, you know, and to our superintendent, Dr. Willett. Thank you.
Thanks for steering the ship.
Yeah.
And Lisa. Thank you.
And
Keep it track.
Lisa, most importantly, Lisa, make sure that's in the minute.
There you go. Lisa, I'm going to make sure of it.
Okay, so now moving on to the superintendent report. K1 is the monthly financial report, Dr. Willett.
All right, let me cue that up here.
Gotcha.
Good. So as you're aware, monthly financial report, we do that usually first meeting of every month. I'll go through some of the bigger considerations or lines. If you have any questions, please let me know and I'll try to answer what I can, or I'll get the answers for you a little bit later. The FFC meeting is next week, and we do dive deeper in a even further disaggregation of this information. So if you're interested, that will be occurring next week as well, or Wednesday of next week, if you want to tune in. So board members and those at home, you can also take a look at the agenda and expand it. Might be easier to see if you open up that agenda item and expand it. That's part of the attachments to the agenda that was posted. All right, so code 120, substitutes, that's over due to custodian substitutes running over. We're using more sub-custodians. You may remember that a few years ago, we had reductions in that area, and when we have illnesses or things like that, we have to use subs to cover. It's about 15 days, and we've had to use about 17 custodians over that span of time, so it's a lot. There's 8 hours a shift, $17 an hour, so it equals about 30,000 that we've had to use to cover those types of things. 150 stipends. We still have some stipends that grant money is still coming in, and so are some donations that were promised, but it's not probably by the end of the year. It's going to balance out as we would expect. We're close to it. Code 240, 401 retirement. That's over by about 20 due to several new hires selecting the 401A plan. And when you can only estimate what you're going to get there. Sometimes people take it, some don't. The 401A plan is just people jumped on that one this time. The staff are also working some extra hours, and that will also affect that. So during budget season last year, we did not include any, anticipated. So we cut that back, and so this is going to run over a little bit when those individuals take it. 320 professional education services. It's over. 153 last month was 73. Again, it's additional services provided to 3 outplacements. That's going to continue to go on over the span of the year. We're going to get some money in, but you're going to see that line continue to grow. Because of those, you may remember last year's budget, we took out any anticipated, we did not budget for outplacement that any that might happen. We just did what we had. Sometimes in this budget, we try to budget for 1 or 2 that could happen in case this kind of thing occurs. So it did occur. And so we'll incur that against that line. We should see that run negative. There is SLP services also required by an individual. So that was something that had to be added here as well. 340 legal, we knew this would happen, but we are going to run over on budget because we put that line significantly below trend. And, we've incurred this and will continue to incur this. We also have para-educator negotiations approaching, so there'll probably be some legal advisement in there. So that line will probably run further during this time. So these that I'm kind of highlighting now, you're going to, in month to month, see these increase. 510 student transport over by a little bit more due to some additional transportation costs. We also, price of fuel and other things is going up. So there's going to be some impacts there, as we go through the next cycle. 560 tuition outplacements. Again, that's going over. That has to do with students having special service needs, net increase of additional outplacements. And we talked about that last time. We also have one that could be incurred fairly soon. We've already talked about, so I won't continue to belabor that. So that's kind of where we're at this time. McKinney-Vento also has impacted that line. We've had some additional family needs with respect to McKinney-Vento, which is our homeless. It's the Homeless Act, so there are things that we will do. And there's no one person or family right now. There are quite a few people that we've been helping, so that is part of that picture. I don't want anyone to think, "Oh, I know who that is." You probably don't know who that is. I'm just saying. So, those are the big ones. We expect to kind of come in pretty typical this year, but where we end will have a lot to do with these kinds of outplacements. I think in the last couple of years, we already talked about this budget-wise, the average is about 0.3%. We'll land somewhere in the 0.3% zone. But you'll notice that, an outplacement can affect by over $100,000. So that anything can shift very dramatically, depending on who comes in or goes out. That's just one example.
Given that Wendy Cody is leaving, and we're bringing in a substitute for her, will that overrun that substitute line as well?
Well, so there'll be a small differential between the time of the leaving and the time of the hiring. So that'll kind of offset the person that we have to bring in. So it shouldn't be too bad, but yes. I mean, it'll occur against the line, but it'll be offset by what you're not spending in salary.
Okay.
And that is a very recent thing, so we're just all trying to figure it out now. So we did find, we're getting that worked out.
Any other questions for Dr. Willett?
Can you explain to us, I think I have a pretty fair understanding, but I want to make sure everyone's on the same page. The encumbrance, we see that a lot. Can you just give us a layman's definition of what that line defines?
Typically, that's the process, and it is an ongoing one, of saying that we know we have this amount that is coming up that we need to spend in the short term, and we want to make sure that that set aside is solid so that if for some other reason there's a lot of draws on that line, this is protected because we've already made a commitment. That commitment could be a contract that's coming due in March. It could be, so like if something happened and if you didn't do the encumbrance and you happen to draw against that line so much that now you don't have enough to pay the contract that's coming due in March or something like that, now you can't pay the contract in March. So the encumbrances are basically positioning of those funds in a protected place so that they cannot be overdrawn from. And so that will happen as we get towards, as we progress through the year. Some things are encumbered immediately. Some things are encumbered as, contracts are approaching. Some, that's generally the process. We will do encumbrances sometimes also as we get to a certain point in the end of the year, because there's things that they know I'm going through the lines and they know I'll start to pull together data on, where we might land. They want to make sure I don't include something they're going to spend in AMM April 15th. The other thing that happens is when we get to a certain point in the year, I let all the departments know two things. One, we may freeze certain lines like professional development. But I also say you better make those expenditures or get those contracts resolved by X date, because I'm going to pull all funds out of any encumbrances by a certain point. That usually is when we are getting into June. I will start to pull all encumbrances back, and that's when I start to talk to you about what's remaining and where we might land. And do you want to commit resources to X, Y, or Z based on what we might have? Here's what we might be transferring to ERF. That type of thing.
It's basically reserve funds. Reserve funds is the easiest way to say it, is make sure that we're not put in harm's way if we don't have those funds to take care of something that might not just happen at the beginning of the year. So it's having that it's literally reserving it for a specific.
That we know is coming up to be spent.
Huh?
That reserving it because we know it's coming up to be spent.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's in a separate column, so we
Sure.
don't pay from it, but so it's still there.
Right. The other question I had is and student transportation services. You had mentioned there was some additional expenses and fuel. Up until 2 weeks ago, fuel was cheaper than it was last year when we even made this budget.
Yeah.
Do we lock in a fuel price?
My comment, I apologize for not being clear. I meant that it's going to impact us in our cycle coming forward.
But that's not reflected here.
No. But what I was saying is that things can impact that. And as we look forward, we're going to have probably a different impact in fuel.
Okay.
Like that won't hit us right now per se, but next year, as we start to get into our budget process conversations, these kind of things can impact those lines.
Sure. What impacted us here to go over $6,000? Do you know specifically?
It's athletic transportation costs. We had to run either further, longer, or to additional places.
It's all those tournaments we're going to.
Tournaments and increased costs. Sometimes that you have to accommodate more than what you expected. You might have to send a bus down and back. You might have to have a bus sitting there. It depends on the circumstances, and those can affect the cost.
So I question that because we didn't have JV football. We didn't have freshman basketball. We didn't go to the state tournament in football this year. So there was a lot of things that we didn't do that I was shocked to see it over.
Yeah, well, it's
this
over
month.
by 5,000.
And a small number
what I
compared to
can
our
do is
$45 million budget.
Yeah, no worries. If you want, what I'll do is I'll get exactly why it's over by 5,000.
We
But
can
it
add
is,
it to the FF. Since we're in the deep
It's-
dive,
Yep.
we can dive into it.
yeah, it is
I'll look at it in a
athletics.
minute. Absolutely.
What I know at this level is it's athletics related because it's
Sure.
drawing on that area of it, but I
Right.
can find out specifically what that 5,000
Okay.
is.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I can talk about it at FFC if you want.
Yeah, we do the deep dive into it
Yeah.
next week anyway.
And I'll see it on the minutes when we come out.
But that is
We're
where,
gonna report too.
in the transportation realm,
Right.
it is the student athletics. It's hitting, that's where that 5,000 overage roughly is coming.
Okay, thank you. That's-
Okay, anybody else?
Schedule, when someone FOIAs, when we get FOIA'd, how much does that cost the district?
Well, I mean, FOIA is a complicated matter, so you have both the costs of whatever sometimes is necessary to generate a response. For instance, if you have to provide something that requires redactions, generally you have to have legal people look at it to make sure that the redactions, aren't violate, that they are appropriate. That whatever you're giving doesn't violate any privacy laws or anything like that. So if there is a FOIA that has a series of documents, for instance, emails, you have to put those emails up and get them redacted. That cost is quite expensive. It would be anywhere from, 100 to multiple hundreds per hour, depending on what you do and, how many documents and the density of it. There's also what you might consider opportunity cost, or sometime it's the time we have to spend working on the FOIAs. So if you take the staff that have to work on the FOIAs, the amount of time you have to work on the FOIAs and multiply it by what you're paying us, daily, you do have a lot of workforce kind of productivity lost, and you're spending money that way too. You're spending money in the workforce that is, the workers that have to be processing those, and you're spending money in any redactions or any legal processing you have to do when you provide those FOIAs.
So would you say I know we have some other legal stuff going on, but so the 52,000 that were over FOIA, some of the FOIA requests contributed to that.
Which
Legal services.
Definitely, yeah. That's where it would hit. If it was going to hit, that's where it's hitting. And yes, we do have to do redaction.
And then plus
Yeah,
the
that's
hourly
where-
payroll or salary payroll,
Yeah,
office people, your team in the office, I should say, not office, the total.
Yeah.
Your team in the office doing some of the legwork as well.
yeah. We try to handle everything we can, but anything that gets tricky about, redacting, we want to make sure we're not violating, because it's a much worse situation, even much more legal vulnerability if you violate any kind of privacy by not being careful about that.
Okay.
So,
And then I have more questions, but we can save them for FFC since it's next week.
Anybody else? Okay. K2, the instructional rounds.
okay. Just want to put in a plug for the instructional rounds. They are amazing. There's the Birch Grove one coming up tomorrow, and many have signed up. Obviously, life gets in the way a lot of times, so that happens. But I just wanted to encourage board members to engage in those. Those are set up for you to interact with students, teachers, administrative staff. They're designed to give you an insight into specific areas that you can request, and I'll work on them. And these are usually from those kinds of things, but we set them up about a year in advance based on what people have asked for and wanted to see and their interest areas and so on. So I just wanted to encourage you to engage in the instructional rounds. And people, we love seeing you. We love seeing you in the buildings. We love walking around with you. The kids love seeing you. So it's a fantastic experience for everyone. Any of you that have participated, do you want to throw out how fantastic of an experience it is?
I love it. But, I was just going to call Dr. Willett out because he doesn't love when I break away and run around the school by myself.
Miss Gallichamp will destroy the grow card economy by flooding it with additional. She crashes the entire.
Mr. Swanson, he has already made me extra copies. It's fine.
Simple Keynes in economics. The more you put in.
No, they truly are absolutely great though. I mean, it's so wonderful to actually see the kids, I love even just seeing them at their locker breaks in the older years, and seeing their energy. But it is really great to see, our staff working one-on-one, to see the kids in the classrooms, to see kids working with interventionists. Our curriculum supervisors and directors are there, and it's just, again, we all have so many experiences, right? I have experience as a parent. I have experience as a volunteer. And this is still an entirely new world of an experience for everything that they explain to you that is going on behind the scenes for what we're actually viewing happening in action for our students. So they are fantastic. I do love Birch Grove because the kids actually like to see us at Birch Grove. So that's enjoyable. But yeah, I can't wait for tomorrow.
You have, so there's tomorrow, the next one coming up after that is March 23rd. Tomorrow is focusing on unified arts and music and phys ed, computers, and Birch Grove's engagement, SEL, and so on. The one on the 23rd at THS is all about Equal Block and MTSS. Remember, sometimes we have questions about that. We're not sure what that looks like. Well, this will give you a really good look at that. Structured academic supports. Students will talk to you about that, the integration of SmartPass, many of the things that you've heard, but you haven't had direct experience with. This will give you an opportunity. April 8th is MTSS data analysis and special education service models at TIS. So that'll give you a really good sense to look at how we use data and how we use it in the classroom, how kids react, and how that is impacted. And then TMS on May 20th, that one was one of the ones knocked out by the snow day. That's about specifically student-centered learning in the classroom. And we'll talk to you about the domains and the CCT and the 2015 and all that. So it just gives you a really good shot, really good view right into all of those things you've been hearing about as terms, but you're just not sure what that means. So it's just great to be able to participate, and we can't wait to see you guys there.
Can I put you on the spot and ask you if you want to maybe give us a quick eChip update?
So Egypt, it's not on the agenda, but it does relate to financial aspects of things. So Egypt is, our health collaborative that I've been executive chair for some years now, and the town has had a great experience with. We have a very healthy reserve, and Tolland is doing great. The state has offered a health insurance plan that's extremely competitive. And that health insurance plan will be probably for many places a better deal, especially in the early year or years. So Egypt as a collective, most of the members have decided to go and become part of the state's plan. And currently the Tolland, our entity, is also looking at that. So what I am in the process of doing right now is working with the membership of Egypt to create our termination agreement or termination notice and termination process, which is a pretty complicated process because we're kind of, I don't want to use the word divorce. We're having a very amicable separation, right? But think of it like, there's paperwork. There's who gets what, where's that going? Everybody taking their balances and heading out the door. So there's a process that is required to do that, and we're walking through that process. That process will have been mostly completed by June 30th, but there is what is called a run-out period. The run-out period is when any claims that people might be submitting are going to happen after June 30th. That could be for an entire year. So we'll have our final separation around June 30th as an entity. Some of those, some of the funds and all that come with us. Some of the funds also have to stay committed for the run-out period because there'll be claims put against it after our separation. So we're not going to really see much of any kind of, we're not going to be able to have a full financial conversation about what is and isn't until 2 points, June 30th, and then ultimately 1 year out from then. So those funds have to stay committed for any run-out claims, things like that. So that's probably not going to do anything for us with respect to this budget season, but but I'll let you know as we progress and what that looks like. Remember though, we're talking about insurance. So whatever is there and whatever, reserve we have there has to be applied to insurance, to people, that type of thing. So it's not like you can't use it on us or something like that, right? So just keeping that in mind. So that I'll report out as time goes on. In FFC, I was talking to Ms. Philbin that we may be able to have an FFC agenda on that in about a month.
Okay. I just know the town manager mentions it in his, I don't know if he did last night, but he mentions it in his town manager update. So I just wanted to make sure.
Sure. Yeah. No, I'm happy to expound upon it.
And then I was also going to ask you if you just wanted to give a quick, NIAS update, being that the committee was here this week and Bill, Joel, and I met with them on Monday.
Yeah, they, as you know, we are having our decennial visit, which is essentially for those new members. This organization comes in, New England Association of Schools and Colleges, and they do a review of your high school. They also kind of connectedly do a review of your community, and essentially they give you certification. They give you a high school certification. And so they're in their process of doing that. You have your initial visits in 7-year point, and then they come back at the 10-year point, and then they come back every 10 years. So basically it's every 7 years, but it's decennial because the final visit is in a 10-year cycle, and they check in 7, visit through 10. So we are in that part of it. We are in day 3 of it actually, and it's wrapping up. It has mostly wrapped up. So they will be giving us their report probably in a couple of weeks, and then I'll share that with you. I think we are doing great. Obviously, we have great students, great teachers, great staff of every classification, and the board members did exceptionally well. So I think it's been great for us, and I think we're going to show how the school system is a really wonderful place to be. What I would say is the purpose of having a certification analysis like this is also to see what you need to keep working on. So if I had to guess, like most districts, they're going to say keep plugging away on curriculum, because we've made a lot of progress in that area, and we're developing and doing more than we ever have before. But they're going to probably throw out something, the effect that you should have a written curriculum for every course and things like that. And that's pretty typical. I don't think we're not going to fail for this reason. It's just, hey, keep doing that, that type of thing. So I think it'll be very positive, a lot of positives. I do think they'll have some real constructive suggestions, which is also part of the process, and your board representatives that are in town.
And they also met with some staff members, and they met with some students
Yeah,
too.
well, they meet with every group. They meet with students.
Yes, you were? How was that for you?
It was pretty good. They mostly just asked like how like our community was and like what we would want to change about the school.
Okay. Great. Thank you for being a part of that. All right. I was just going to say, is there any other questions?
Yeah, what the NEASC evaluation, I'll call it for now. Can you just explain if that has an impact on, what schools are looking at our students? Does that impact how schools how colleges view the district in terms of, this student's coming from a district that NEASC gave a lot of thumbs up to versus this student's coming from a district that NEASC gave a lot of thumbs down to? Is there some sort of significance there?
It can. I think NEASC and the visiting teams really focus more on helping districts and towns, communities grow.
Mm-hmm.
So they're very, very positive oriented towards the community, just trying to let you know ways that you could optimize things that, could use optimization.
Yeah.
In the distant past, what sometimes would happen would be schools would lose their accreditation potentially if they went on probation and did not fix the things that NEASC told them to fix. So, that has not happened in a very long time that the schools have gone on probation. And I can't think of a recent example of that. I'm sure somewhere there is one, but, years and years and years ago, I do know of one that did, and a district went through a lot of trouble, and it is very scary. And if you go on probation, and colleges might not accept kids, but that's not something I've seen a lot of in recent years. And NEASC really is more along the lines of a very helpful partner who will take a look at everything and make recommendations to us about things, community, school, and programs, curriculum. They might make a few comments about budget, but they're more in the line of constructive criticism than damning a school system. So I'm expecting that kind of thing. I'm expecting them to tell us where they think things are great and where, they can give us some constructive criticism. We'll do that.
Sure.
I think we have such great staff and students and so on, great community. I'm not worried at all.
And I will say, the NEASC community members, they're teachers.
Yeah.
So the last thing that they want to do is do anything that would affect the livelihoods and the choices of our students. So like Dr. Willett said, it very much felt like that they were there to help and be constructive and just make our schools be better. Certainly not to take anything away.
And they're not our teachers.
Right.
Just to clarify, they're a group, a team of admin teachers and so on, but they come from various other places. NEASC assembles the team and sends the team to a district. And so, for instance, I was sent to a district in Massachusetts. And so people will put in their time, and then you go for a couple of days and you do an evaluation of a district based on the data and the package and the information they give you. And you're trained in how, and then you go do it. So it's usually they assemble a team of people that are not from one place, they're from multiple places, and that team works together. But they're not, just to clarify, you're right, but they're not our teachers. They're teachers from around the New England area. So we come together as a team, and they send the teams to do these evals.
Any other questions on any of those things for Dr. Willett? Okay. Moving on to new business, L1, healthy food certification.
So those of you who have been here before, and then, in a few months, I won't be saying that anymore, but still, some of you have not experienced yet the healthy food certification. The healthy food certification is a dense narrative, and essentially the shortest version that I can give you of the narrative is that we do need to comply with CGS 10215F, USDA, and 221Q, various laws and regulations. And if we comply with the various laws and regulations, we get reimbursements for our lunches. If we fail to comply, we will not get reimbursements. The reimbursements are about $17,000 to $20,000, so they do help our budget. They help our food service program, help the budget. So it's not a good idea not to do it. It's better to do it, obviously. So the way that we get that done is we have to have the board take a look at this, and you can do the first read and come back and do a second read if you want. However, it is one of those things where we do it, we get the 17 to 20. We don't do it, we don't get it. So it's better to do that. But you have to make a motion that is quite extensive. So a lot of times what we do is we refer to the motion. There's a recommended motion item here, motion to allow the superintendent to support and authorize the 2026-2027 health and food certification and allow for the exemptions of food beverage items, as well as other provisions as indicated in considerations 1 and 2. And then you have this consideration 1 and 2. So if there's anything in this you do not agree with, then don't do that. But those are the stakes involved. The board has to do it that way. It has to say 1 and 2 in order to get all full compliance. To be in full compliance.
Any questions on this at this time?
Yeah, in order for us to get that, sorry.
Go ahead.
Right, in order for us to get that reimbursement, we have to be on this program, correct? If we are not on this program, then we don't get that $17,000 to $20,000.
You don't get the 10. Yeah.
So is it just, and then, so if we don't go on the program, what are the benefits? Is there any? Do we get different food
Well,
for the students?
I
Does it cost
suppose
us more.
all falls along libertarian line. You get to drink a soda during the school day or something.
I mean, is that essentially what it is?
Yeah, I mean, if you kind of parse through this, and what we're going to talk about next is also kind of similar. You cannot sell food during the school lunch, their school day, because it'll take resources away from the USDA program, and you also should not be using vending machines to sell food that's not in alignment with the healthy food cert. Then you could do those things, but you would not now get the reimbursement.
So the lunch that the students are being served wouldn't change. There might just be additional sugary, non-healthy options that don't.
You wouldn't have to police your vending machines that way. You could probably have something in there. I'm not going to go as far as to say a ding dong, because I don't know if it actually could happen anymore. But yeah, I mean, like when I was growing up, they had Coca-Cola machines and things like
Yeah, you
that.
can probably make up the money other ways by having
All
a
of
machine
this.
say, hey, you give me 25% of all the sales. I'm a Coke guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's just also that when you have when you have funding, right, kind of spot, funding of our lunches, they also don't want things competing with those lunches.
Sure.
So you can't have a pizza, somebody selling pizza every day that's now taking, that money away because they're subsidizing really your lunches. So now if somebody's selling pizza and it takes away from the number of lunches you sell, it's messing with everything.
I just want to understand both sides of it.
Or the school store, right? So the school store can't.
Can't sell candy bars,
Yeah.
bowls, right? That's why the school store can't sell any of that stuff.
Right.
So it's meant to do a couple things, meant to make people healthier because they're, during the day, they're distributing foods that are good for the body. But also not go against the state program and, contrary to the state's objectives with this.
Okay.
So you probably realistically make up most of that money in other ways. Selling some.
Less healthy ways.
Yeah, less healthy. The actual money part is, I don't think is we're saying, oh, we're doing it for the money. I don't think we're doing it for the money because you can get the money other ways through selling these non-healthy items.
So it's the way they promote healthy.
Yeah, no, I know the way they promote it, but let's realistic.
Yeah.
Real world, you can get that 17 grand easily throughout the school year.
I don't know. Do you guys eat Twinkies anymore? No, they're healthy already. It's working.
We throw the Red Bull vending machine.
That's different, right?
Make the money out of staff. I think we'll see parent contributions change because I'm dumping money into that school account all the time, and I'm not going to be dumping money into it if it's going to soda. I'll tell you that. Yeah,
They could do a Twinkie or soda initiative, but I don't know.
Yeah.
We
They could eat
de-
that after
we
school.
would definitely make the news for a Twinkie and soda initiative.
Yeah, we could whatever she did for sure. Would anybody like to make a motion to move this to board action? So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on that? Okay. So, Joelle.
Aye.
Elaine.
Aye.
Dana. Bill.
Aye.
Brian.
Aye.
Mackenzie.
Aye.
Jaden.
Aye.
JP dropped off for right now, and I'm an aye. So we will move that to, what is it, N? No, not N.
You could do N2.
N2, okay. N2. Okay, so now that brings us to our addition, which is L2, correct? Which is the discussion on the school calendar.
School. Yeah. This is this year.
Yeah,
Right.
this is
Talking
kind of
about this year's calendar.
Right.
an off-the-cuff discussion, but I guess what we would be asking, right, is what are our options at this point? That given that the final day of school is June 22nd, I believe, at this point. Is that correct,
Yeah.
Dr. Willett? Okay, just to make sure. What would some options look like for us?
So just to pull it up, I mean, you're asking about options.
Yep.
Your main option right now would be, April break. You do have the authority to remove days from April break and then make them school days, but we would have to run some bases for that. I'd have to, go and make sure we, handled all the stakeholders, but that essentially, you still have the same number of contractual school days and same number of teacher work days, but now you would be pulling that last day back. So if you started taking April days, April vacation days, you could subtract a day from end of year for every April vacation day you took.
Okay.
So that's your positive.
Okay.
On the downside, there are people that have planned things, staff have planned things, community members have planned things, so that would create some stress around that for those. And the system, our staffing, we would have to do some things to make that work because some people who may have committed to do things during that week.
Are there any other options outside of April break?
Your only real space to take it from is April break now that isn't a holiday, federal kind of holiday and things.
Okay. All right, any questions or comments? Mackenzie?
Which to say, when we brought it up at the policy committee meeting, our recommendation was to not change anything. unless the very near term, we have a big storm that causes another multi-day cancellation.
Right?
I was just curious, is it possible for a half a day on April 3rd or no? The Good Friday. As much likely people aren't traveling just for one.
You can, but it won't, if you do a half day, it doesn't do anything for you.
What do you mean? An early release?
Well, I guess if.
Not a half, I don't know, whatever they call it now.
You're in school for that day. I mean, I would have to check about Good Friday, but maybe, yeah, that one is,
It's not in any of our contracts.
I would have to check.
I feel like it might have been.
I would just have to look at that, but,
I'm not sure if it's in any of the contracts.
I don't know, I'm just throwing something out.
but I mean, if you came in, I can look at that if you come in half day on that day.
Good. Yeah, I was being devil's advocate. I know some people have plans actually that week of the 22nd, so you're gonna lose some people on the 22nd as well, so.
So you're saying get rid of the 22nd, add the 3rd as a half day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we're ending
or release or whatever we call it.
It's the 19th.
2019. Is this hold up or is this where are we at for potential graduation day?
That doesn't change.
That doesn't change. Okay.
We set that, when we hard set that, we don't change it because everybody starts making
Gotcha.
plans and
Okay.
plane flights and.
Well, what day is it?
Yes, right.
It's a night.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh,
Friday the 19th.
You have a question? I'm sorry, I'm trying to look at the contracts while we're talking.
I don't have a question. I just have a comment. Chair, Madam Chair.
Yeah.
I think we're just at a point, it doesn't matter if you take April, spring break, people have plans. If you take, if you move that, people have plans for the end of school year. I have big plans
Yeah.
during that whole week. My daughter's 15th birthday, gone, the country. So it doesn't matter which way you take it, someone's going to be affected one way, I don't think I know I, as and not a native New Englander, I'm like, oh, this don't affect this don't affect this. Of course, the year that you plant something, bam, it's in your face. So, but I would like to know from the students, what's the talk in the school? What are kids feeling and what are they thinking about, now you got 6 extra days going into the summer.
To be honest, I know even I do already have plans over April break. For example, for me, if we have to be in school on Wednesday, I'm just not gonna be there. I have things I do more important. With no offense to my education, but I think that you're gonna find a lot of absences that week if you do choose to take away those vacation days. We were talking about, I think it was a couple months ago about having the last day on a Monday. I think you would find, especially because high schoolers have to be there for finals, you would find less absences on that 22nd than you would throughout that week of the 15th.
I think that's a very good point. And that would also affect what progress you can make in classes with a very large number of kids or young adults are not there.
Call out now.
Yeah, I have to say, although I completely understand and I'm not thrilled about going into September. Sorry, I'm trying to fast. I'm looking through our contracts. I do very much feel that people have made plans for April break, and I also think about our staff. And I know that our staff has a summer break, but these are the people that are with our students all day, every single day. They have very limited time that they can take off that are not scheduled breaks or days off. And I, for one, want them to be at their best, considering that they're with my child longer than I am on a regular day, on a school day. So that's very important to me. I also think that Angela made a good point, which is that, I do think, listen, I don't have anything planned for April break, but if I did, I'd still be going. And there's going to be a lot of students that will just miss school. They will then be behind. The teachers will then be, overburdened, catching them up afterwards. I have a high schooler and he was out for a day, a couple of weeks ago, and I think he's just taking the test tomorrow. So at the high school level, because things are moving so fast, when you have makeup work, it sometimes gets pushed, and it's difficult for them. So I do understand the need to discuss it. And again, this is just my personal opinion, but I feel like what the policy committee came up with makes sense. If there's additional days, then we're going to come to, we're probably going to have to do something. But as of right now, as unfortunate as the 22nd is, I would personally stay with it. So far, I just got through the our administrator's contract, and they do have Good Friday listed as a paid holiday for them. So I would assume if the admins have it, then the teachers have it, and the parents have it too, because they pay attention to each other's contracts, but I haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily assume that about the contracts, but the state of Connecticut does give you, you can hold school on CGS 1.4 indicates that you can hold school on that day if you wanted to. So it's not like there are certain holidays that are December holidays that you can't hold school on. Good Friday is not one of those. So you can technically, as a board, decide to hold school on it. If you do hold school on a day that you can, you're just going to in some form.
Well, it's a paid holiday.
Right.
You have to pay them.
You have to pay them again.
There might be impacts to that. If it's in a contract that it is a day, you might have an impact. But I don't think that's not in all of them, but I would say,
Yeah.
You're allowed to under the, it's not like there are certain holidays that the state federal you cannot. This is not one of those. I just looked it up. So you are actually allowed in Connecticut to have school on that day if you wanted, on Good Friday.
Not to lessen the importance of PD days. To
Those-
take one of those or those contractual.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're all half days.
Well, the
Yeah, but
ERs are
day-
different, but you wouldn't get
Yeah.
anything out of the ERs per se, but the full contractual, like,
Right.
yeah, those service days are.
Okay, Dana.
I think this is almost a moot point because when we talk about kids being in front of, students in front of teachers, or teachers in front of students and having time in the classroom. And yeah, 6 days is significant. Obviously, this is an obscure year. We haven't seen snow and ice like this in probably a decade. But we're talking about different things like Ms. McCann talked about, attrition and morale and retaining our folks. And I get concerned that we're talking about April vacation. And I think I appreciate your candor. It's the same for people, they have their plans, whether they have plans or not. How many kids are going to be there? And how many student staff are going to be there, right? And so you can't do forward progress on education when you have half your class missing. So then are we just putting a day on the calendar to put a day on the calendar when they're probably going to do a whole bunch of pomp and circumstance in the classroom anyways? So yeah, do we want the 180 days? Absolutely. Are people probably not going to come to school on June 22nd? Absolutely. But I think it's just an unfortunate odd scenario. And I think some of these things that we need to talk about as New Englanders. I am also not a native New Englander, and this has been a long winter. Is maybe, and again, this summer obviously is already shortened. So do we look at moving it a couple of days, like in next year where we're talking the calendar, and the next year that we're talking the calendar, do we talk about starting out earlier in August? And then that goes into contracts and negotiations where that looks with our teachers. So this is more of, we're not going to be able to fix anything today for this calendar year. It's kind of going to fall the way it's going to fall. But these are conversations, bigger conversations for negotiations when we're doing contracts, and then when we're setting the calendars year over year. What does that look like to give us some kind of buffer? Again, this was a really obscure year. I mean, I don't think we didn't have any. I think I used a snowblower once last year. You know what I mean? So it's just different, and it's unfortunate. Well, and then I appreciate there was a couple of emails regarding it, trying to be creative, but contractually one, and then morale for another thing is just another thing.
And native New Englander. Back when I was in school, the school year did go that long. And we've also gotten comments from parents about ending too early in June. and having a lot of June needing childcare. Just something to think about for how we adjust next year, or any years after that. But I just have a question. Is the last day of school an early release day?
Yeah.
It is, right.
And just again, a quick perusal through the contracts. It's in the admins, it's in the paras, it's in the nurses, and it's in the custodians. I'm not sure, the language in the teacher's contract is a little different, so I wouldn't necessarily say it's not in the teacher's contract, but it is in those 4 contracts that they can full pay that day. It's vacation. So.
I just want to one last comment. I'm glad that, Jaden, you brought this up and we discussed it, and I think we gave it its due diligence, and, we're already March. If we were having this discussion prior to our winter break, then maybe there's something we can do, but, spring break's next month, a few weeks away, actually. So,
Fortunately, it would have been easier if it happened before February.
yeah, exactly. So that's all.
Well, no, I'll say this. I'll credit Mackenzie for bringing it up during our policy meeting, because it just sort of, I'm thinking about Manchester. I don't know. It's my personal schedule. I want that April break still. But the one thing I said to Mackenzie is, I don't think right now I'm in a place where I can support touching April break or anything like that. You can't go past June 30th. So if we have another snowstorm and we start to see our date is 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, 29th, then I think we need to address it, hopefully sooner than later. But hopefully we are through. Oh God. Hopefully we are through the toughest of winter and we don't have to do that. I think that's just what it would take at this point of the year for that to happen. Now, if we were in December, Joelle, I think you just made it. If we were earlier in the year, I think we've got some more maneuverability to work with, especially in February and there's some other days in here that we could touch. But just where I am right now, what we discussed in policy, I don't think we're there yet. If we have some cancellations coming in the next few weeks, don't be surprised if policy brings this up again, though. So that was sort of where I finished myself.
And if we need to have a special meeting because something needs to be decided, we can do that as well.
Right.
Any other questions, or you can make a motion to move it to board action? Okay. All right. Thank you for bringing that up, though, Jaden, and good discussion on it. All right. Let's move to old business M1, which is the Board of Education goals.
All right.
I think we all have a thing in our dashboard too. We can look at, right?
Yes. So I love acronyms, so I got to create another acronym here. But the admin and the teachers know, that staff knows. So you submitted some base submissions. We can look at those, but basically what I tried to do here, and I will admit, I engaged some AI assistants. I took everything that you had created and asked AI to summarize it. So what you're seeing here is you have the goals on the left side, and I, took from all of the submissions, which there were quite a lot, which is good, a lot of detail. So AI synthesized and consolidated each of these. So if somebody, let's say 5 people gave an example of what they felt that was expected under expectations or conditions for success or system accountability or building public support for the first goal, it would take all 5 of your contributions and synthesize them into, for expectations, this one. For consolidate conditions for success, this one. So can't take credit for the consolidation of them. That was, at 5.4. But this is what I came up with. I can show you your original. If we did not use the AI for this, you would be consolidating, your own one by one. So we can do that too, if you would like to do that too.
Yeah. So we had this discussion earlier, and thank you, Dr. Willett, for doing that, because that's what we talked about with this group. We knew you guys like expediency. So there is the background data there, if you need it. I can do a quick read through if we want, so that we can, what would happen if we looked at this at home and came back? I mean,
so you can see both. Here's your base submissions.
Yep.
These are your base submissions, and then you can also see your, the consolidation. Both of them are accessible to you, here in.
So if we ran through them tonight, do we have to vote on anything or motion for anything or?
Really, you've already created your goals.
Right.
Well, I mean, you could, but this exercise was once you have the goals.
Yep.
It's a board activity to help articulate what do you expect of yourselves, to achieve these. What are the conditions of success that you're thinking will have to be in place? What are the things, systemically accountable, for your accountability? What are you saying is going to be an indicator of that success? What are you accountable to do because of that goal? And then how are you going to build public support for that goal?
Yeah.
So you could approve these officially, or you could just say, yep, this was our consolidation, and then use it as a doc. The goal here is to use it every time we talk about goals, your goals now, though. So over the next 2 years, and mine, when I go to create the superintendent goals for the coming year, I'll look at this. I'll look at what you said was your important goals. I'll look at what you have for things you want to do to build public support, the conditions you want for success, and I will try to build my goals off of those. So that's essentially it. You can vote to accept these, or just you could take it as you did it as a synergy of all of your offerings, and here it is.
That's your question.
Okay.
We have already articulated publicly our 5 goals and voted on them. So
And they're on your
So-
agenda.
really, this is really just a matrix for us to hold ourselves accountable for achieving our goals.
That's right. That's the final stage of the exercise is you have your goal. Now, how are you going to build public support for it? What are you going to, how are you accountable for it? All of that, which is what you did between last and this meeting, was you submitted those items and they were consolidated by our friendly AI. So you didn't have to take all of your different ones and do it yourself.
If I may say, I don't think we need to vote on anything. I think we just, unless someone is reading this and vehemently disagrees with how those of us that submitted suggestions, how it was summarized.
Nice wording.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure I got that in there to give those of us that submitted items. So, unless there's something that someone has bouncing around in their head that they need to get on here, that didn't submit in the last 2 weeks that we've had time to do it.
Right.
I think it is what it is.
Yeah, why don't we do this? Why don't we just say, take a look at it at home? If there's something that you're really not okay with, again, with the understanding that we did have a couple of weeks to submit these things, but if there's something that just really looks off to you, maybe by Friday at 4 p.m., send an email to myself and the superintendent. And otherwise, we'll just assume that everybody is good to go. Is that good? Yep. All right.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, guys.
You're looking for information there.
Yep. All right. All right. So, Jane, I'm sorry. Did you have something?
No,
Oh, okay.
no,
I
nothing.
just wanted to go off.
I'm getting excited over here.
Oh.
Excited for your board action, for your policy?
No, man, we're moving along.
It's the first thing there on motion to go past it.
Just keep going.
All right, so I'm gonna move on to board action. So we have N1 policy 5400. So this is the second read, I believe, right?
Correct. So, grab that.
Good one. That's a nice, easy one too. All right.
So this should be pretty straightforward. Essentially, we talked about it a little bit already, but this is connected. We do have the state come in and they do an audit, and what they'll do is they'll kind of look at everything and they'll say, hey, we noticed that you don't make a specific reference to the fundraising with food to be consumed during the school day must meet SmartStack standard statement. So F10 is not noticed in your document, for instance. And then you say, yes, auditor, I will put this in the document. This is the right thing to have in the document. And then we bring it to the board and the, policy, and then to the board. And here we are. So basically, the language we are adding incorporates F10 as well as some other notations. You can see that there in that paragraph. Those notations disappear once we put it into the policy itself. So if you scroll down, you can see that highlighting is just that added section we're putting in. And once we finalize this, we will probably take the little notations and the brackets out. But this is what we are adding. And this was because we need to add this to be properly displaying the statement about vending machines and smart snacks in our wellness policy. So you are approving the Healthy Foods Initiative, but that is just that is language to allow us to say the board has approved that approach. The wellness policy needs to speak about wellness in this way in order to be in compliance with the state as well. So this is not really one of those things we can, say no to, or we'll fail the audit, and that could have other ramifications.
Wouldn't be great.
When was the audit by chance?
It was the last couple of weeks of January, February.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And now, I'm sorry, can I ask a question or no? You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Does this though doesn't set anything rolling into I know the graduation team was selling pizzas and stuff over for the basketball games to raise money or anything like that?
They
How does
never
this
did
play
that
into
during
this? Is that still
school day.
considered a school day?
Nope, they wouldn't be doing that during the school day. Because that would not be good as part of that. So, but yes, to your question, that this would pertain to such things, right?
Okay,
We would be saying that we're not doing that,
okay.
and that we wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
And
Chicken
this
salad.
codifies in our wellness policy that we also will not be doing that. So
Great.
Any other questions?
Well, statement, it seems, while not word for word, pretty repetitive from the paragraph directly above it.
Yeah.
yeah,
I understand if they say we need to have it, it is what it is,
they looked at what was there and felt that we needed to have.
This extra piece. Okay.
Anything else, or would anyone like to?
So moved.
I will accept a motion to approve the amendment to policy 5400.
So moved.
Thank you, Mackenzie. Jaden seconded. Any discussion? No? Okay. Joelle?
Aye.
Elaine? Aye. Dina?
Aye.
Bill?
I,
Brian?
Aye.
Mackenzie?
Aye.
Jaden?
Aye.
JP?
Aye.
I'm an aye, so that is approved. And now we have to jump back to N2, which is the board action we added for the healthy food certification.
Oh,
And we do have the recommended motion there. I can read it if you'd like. Lisa, is that helpful?
It's also right. I can pull it up forward.
Okay. Do you want to make a motion then, Jay?
have it up on the board here too.
Who wants to read the motion?
You can read it. I'm just going to pull it up for you.
Whoever's reading it, make.
Oh,
I can't make a
I
motion.
got it. Motion to allow the superintendent to support and authorize the 26-27 healthy food certificate and to allow for the exemption of food and beverage items as well as other provisions as indicated in considerations 1 and 2.
seconded.
Any discussion? Nope. Okay. Joelle?
Aye.
Elaine?
aye.
Dana?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
Mackenzie?
Aye.
Jaden?
Aye.
JP?
Was it a JP? If so, aye.
And I am an aye. That passes. Okay.
That was the 106.
All right, so now we are at public participation. Dr. Willett, if you want to put 2 minutes up. You have a moment. Okay. Would anyone in the room like to speak at this time? Would anyone online like to speak at this time? Seeing that there's very limited people in the room and, oh,
Just want to mention that Mary Rose DeBerrick, 37 Ryan Road. Don't forget the Phantom of the Opera. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 2 shows Saturday.
thank you.
Just on that, one of my coworkers, her son is involved in that show. She is talking about it like every day. I can't wait. I can't wait. There's a big chandelier apparently, and they built it themselves. And yeah,
It's incredible. It is really incredible. People should go.
What day?
Those
Thursday?
things coming out.
7, Friday at 7, Saturday at 2, and Saturday at 7.
And I have my tickets for Friday night. Get yours.
There you go.
They are going fast.
Thank you. Anybody-
When do you get tickets?
Anybody else for public participation?
It's on their website.
All right, Dr. Holland.
It's also on the bulletin. The superintendent's bulletin has the link as well.
We can close public participation.
Um,
All right. Points of information, any board members like to speak? This time? Nope, I was gonna plug Phantom of the Opera. That with the Wizards game coming.
Wizards,
up
next Saturday.
Next Saturday.
I'm gonna be reffing the heck out of it.
And I can't wait for BGP rounds tomorrow.
Oh, that was,
No, it's okay.
it was just something I had said to Walt earlier, to the Tolland Education Foundation for the month of March. They have some anonymous donors matching up to $25,000 in matching funds.
Wow.
Great, thank
That's
you.
right.
Thank you, Tess.
So
Thank you for mentioning that. You're saying?
I have a question that maybe you can respond. When's the can drive? Isn't it the 21st? Yeah, okay. The can drive at the high school is the 21st, so bring your recyclables, and that goes through the project graduation.
Yes.
So a lot of fundraising happening, and so I would check the boosters page and the superintendent's page, because we have this scramble coming up. We talked about the Wizards, so
Cornhole, that's right.
the scramble, and then the cornhole, May 9th, which is always May 9th, which is a great one. These are all fundraising opportunities for boosters and for the schools. We talked about the pizza, that the boosters are there at night selling the pizza at the high school games to fundraise.
Actually, can I?
Sorry, very healthy sandwiches. But those are opportunities for fundraising.
Can I actually fix that? Actually, the seniors, the senior officers came to the boosters to ask if they could sell. They're the ones, the senior officers did it. They're the ones that sold pizza and stuff, and they did it to raise money for their senior activities.
That's awesome.
So the boosters gave them a little bit of money to start, and that was their project, their program, and all for their class.
After hours.
After us.
After hours.
And it was really.
We do a lot of fundraising already.
And I think what Dr. Willett is trying to exhibit to us is that all of the things we just talked about and more can be found in the season bulletin, which comes out weekly. Thank you, Dr. Willett.
Just making sure people at home are seeing everything.
Senior parents.
I do love that. I do love that class officers
All right.
got to do.
So with that, I will accept a motion for adjournment.
Second.
All right. We have to do a roll call.
JP drop off.
Joel.
He actually is.
Aye.
Oh, he is?
Yeah. he's-
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.